guys, this is the daily warm-up, and that's very simple, 4.5 minutes. I'm going to start with the shoulder band, go into an ankle band drill, then into a drill with the rings. Then we just do some pull, pushes and some leg movements to get the body nice and warm. Now these are shoulder bands, so you can just get them on eBay. It's just a 6mm resistance band, 6mm. You just want to cut it so that way it's open and you can do all of these different movements. So to start with, I'm going to turn on the posterior chain, just circling from the hips to overhead. Coming right up tall, little circles turning out, trying to hit my handstand line, little circles coming down and in. Then I'm going to come down and back into a cobra position, then into this position 45 degrees and into a T position, then into a Y, then a hard one, into an I. So really trying to shrug up and pull back. Then I'm getting some external rotation, internal rotation. So I want to keep the elbow line like an axle rod and just rotate around that axle. Trying to get as far as I can here, as far as I can here. The goal would be to get 90 degrees and then externally rotating there, internally rotating, and even turn it in like that. Then I turn around, so that's 30 seconds worth. Turn around this way, then little circles coming up, lock the elbows, feet together, getting that anterior core activation, coming right up, shrugging overhead. This side's a lot easier to get that overhead position because it's pulling you back into shoulder flexion. Turning in as I'm coming down. Then I'll stretch into a back lever. Then coming out on 45 degrees, opening up the chest, squeezing forward, stretching out into a fly position, pressing forward into a Y, T, Y, then up into the I position, shrugging up overhead, keeping the ribs in, and then coming down. Then I'm going to go internal rotation from the top. So I want that axle rod position. Then I'm going to go out, come down, and then coming up. Internal to external. Now this takes a bit of practice to get this, so you want to film this and do it in a time lapse so I can just see the position, so that way it's quite quick for me to see. So you might do it in a x6 or a x8, but just film from the side so I can see the positions that you're hitting. So ideally on the timer they would be 30 seconds each. That's what we use in the group sessions. Really simple. Then we're going to go into ankle band. So this one, you want one of these, you can get these online on eBay, very cheap, Amazon. You can get the heavier ones. This is a heavier resistance one. So they're just a loop. These are great for getting the glutes warmed up, the hips warmed up, the knees warmed up. Now I'm going to start out walking from left to right and keep the heels off to really get the glutes going, get the ankles going, knees going. And as I'm going across, I can squat down. Then I can come back up. Squat down again. Really try and warm up the hips. Now if you find squatting down a bit difficult, just stay upright, keep the knees soft. You can lock them out as well to really get that activation. Then I'm going to walk forward and back, toes turned out, externally rotated, coming down, coming up, then internally rotate, so duck footed and then pigeon toed, and coming up. From there I can go into some single leg squat drills, so I can reach to the front, reach 45, reach to the side, reach 45 to the back. Now I'm trying to get my knee over my toe every time to really warm the ankles up and do external rotation in the hip, then the other leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now as you get better at the training, all these should improve. So it's good to get a time lapse of this, a hyperlapse, sorry, and just film that so you can see the positions that you're doing now, and then over time as you improve, you can see how you've changed with your technique and your awareness in the positions. Now you want to have the rings set up around chest height. You can use a TRX strap, or you can use the door strap on a door like in the starter program if you still haven't got your rings to do this. You're going to traction out, open up the hips, work side to side, but definitely having a set of suspended rings is the easiest way to get strong and healthy. because if you're just hanging off them all the time and using it for your strength training, great value. So I'm going into each ankle, mobilizing that, mobilizing the hips, the adductors, the lats, the lower back. Then I'll go into the lats and the hamstrings, dropping the chest through. So you may be up higher. You want to try and hinge in the hips, draw the quads up. So that would be 30 seconds, 15 seconds each of those. Then you go into chest, or you can do the lats further in that position with the elbows bent, like the butcher's block stretch. And then you're going to come down, fold forward, and go into that back lever stretch, dropping the hips down. I'll just turn around so you can see, but you want to make sure that your elbows are locked and you're just relaxing and tractioning into it. Now, if that's too heavy, all you do is you do those first two and you just stand up and turn around and start here. That's going to be a lot lighter to get into, so you don't have to do that forward fold into it. As you get better, you just walk further back and you're trying to open those shoulders up into extension. You can externally rotate to get more of a stretch. Internal, or the hands facing each other, is a lot easier. You just want to condition those tissues, warm them up, prep them for the workout. So that's a minute each for those different parts. Then we go into the next part, just 30 seconds each. We're going to do 30 seconds of ring rows. Now these are really light. You're not trying to go hard, you're just trying to get blood flow. So just turning the back on, prepping the body for the next part of the workout. Legs are straight, it's only light, so 30 seconds worth. You want to get a nice stretch, nice strengthening position. You can film these and send them to me just to give me an idea of how well you're doing them. But obviously if you're doing some ring pulls and different pull movements in the actual program, those are going to give you more value on technique, but that's pretty simple. Body straight, only light. Make it as easy as you need to go for the full 30 seconds. Then you're going to go into a push-up. Again, make it easy. So you might have to do it on a kitchen bench or something that's elevated, or you can just do it on the knees to start with, getting the chest down, getting a stretch there. If you've got dumbbells or parallettes, you could do it in between to get more of a stretch. Then you can go to the toes, but you're really just trying to go light, get some blood flow. You can use a wider grip, you can use a closer grip to make it a bit harder, but you're just trying to prep the body. Then there's just an air squat. So with this one, you want to try and push the knees forward, mobilize the ankles, drive the hips back, reach out in front, stay more upright. Still want to maintain that lordosis so you're not rounding out, and you're just trying to get blood flow into the ankles, knees, hips, and get that position. You can reach up overhead, stretch out a bit more, but a full 30 seconds of that. After 4.5 minutes of that, you should feel warm, ready to move on and get into the session. So yeah, a hyperlapse of that 4.5 minutes, just seeing the different positions of how well you're doing things is great for me. So I can coach you on improving that, because if it's your warm-up you're using every day and you're using bad technique, you're warming up in a bad way. If you get it right from the beginning, you're prepping your tissues, setting yourself up for a lifetime of good health and good training. So get that video in. See you soon. Ciao.